Yo, what's up guys, HexxInkworks here, and today I'll be reviewing the Street Ink line by MTN that I got in my MTN unboxing video. Now I have three different products from them: a red 15mm square tipped marker, a black 18mm mop, and a refill bottle. Now I obviously can't really do anything with this refill bottle, but I thought I'd include it within the video. And I'll be reviewing it on the typical surfaces that I normally do, being a typical copier paper, then a Mountboard, and then a bit of plastic, but unfortunately I don't have any glass or metal to review it on, so apologies for that guys. And I'll be doing what I normally do, which is showing you different lines that you can get with the markers as well. Also, a few weeks ago I found out this technique where you can blow markers and it leaves a splatter of the ink or the paint, and I quite like this for certain things. So I thought I'll start including it as a technique to review in my videos, and with this being ink it's going to be so easy to do. And I'll first be reviewing the pump marker. So I'll start this review off and start by reviewing the marker on paper. With first impressions and with juicing up the nib a decent amount, the marker just writes nicely on paper, there's no bleeding, and it just leaves like a nice crisp line. Here I'm just mucking about with over pumping the marker, just to see how the paper reacts when the marker's overloaded with ink. And to finish off the paper test, I tried this new technique of blowing the marker, which like I said was super easy. Now paper's done, I'll move on to the Mountboard, and the key difference which I'm seeing in the Mountboard is since it's thicker and since because of the ink being translucent, it appears to me that the white of the Mountboard is shining through, so that's making the colour a bit brighter. And also I know you guys love drips, so I'll have a play around with pumping the marker on a vertical surface just to see how much effort it is to get drips while you're wanting to actually use the marker. Now I don't quite know why, I don't know whether it's because of the alcohol base or whether it's just because of the sheer amount of ink I then put on the Mountboard, but it seemed to sort of disperse outwards weirdly as well while it was going down. Don't quite know why this is. Now I'll move on to plastic. The results are quite similar to the results of the Mountboard, which is, since because of the ink is slightly translucent and with the surface being white, the white's shining through a little bit and therefore making the ink a bit more brighter. Now just as a little bit of a buff test, I tried scratching off the ink and all it seemed to do was slightly smear the ink a little bit. Not drastically, but almost like a tiny little ghosting effect. So you'll be glad to know if someone wants to get this off, they're going to have to go into the shed, get a rag and get some solvents and use some nasty solvents to get it off instead. The colour's a nice saturation, it flows really well, it's a really nice marker to write with, it doesn't take too long to juice up, and it doesn't bleed that badly on the surfaces, but obviously, you know, depending on whether you pump it too little or pump it too much, that's going to affect, you know, your result. So if you want to use it on anything, say you're going to use it on a canvas or on a sticker or something and it's brand new. So yeah, now I'll move on to the 18mm mop marker, and I'll start again on paper. Now obviously since it's a mop, you don't really pump the nib, you just sort of tap it to get a bit of ink in it, and it always fills up super quickly. Now I just did a few lines to sort of get a grip of the marker, and then I did a tag with it. And also, as you can see on the last stroke of the last X, I've done a bit of a flick just to show you once again what different effects you can get with it. Now with the nib being dry from using it, I thought I'd do a quick dot test. Each dot I'm pressing harder and harder, and I'm showing you this just as a reference point for yourselves. It obviously starts with some broken circles with the nib needing to be reduced, but then as it carries on, the dots then get more solid and drips eventually end up appearing as well. Now I move on to Mountboard. Now since the Mountboard is not really that porous and is smooth, this will be great to work on and just super pleasant. For the cursive tag I applied a decent amount of pressure and a little bit of squeeze as well, just to keep the ink flow consistent. But then for the underline I squeezed a significant amount more, and then about a second after I made the line, then all the drips start appearing. And these drips roll pretty far down. With having some more space left on the Mountboard, I thought I'd do some more drip tests, just to get the representation of the drips a bit more accurate. And also I thought I'd use the old board just to see how this black ink can cover over other paints and things. And from what I can see, it pretty much covers it as if there's almost nothing there. Now it might react differently to if it was going over paint, but from what I've gathered from this it wouldn't be very different. Now since we're done on Mountboard, I'll move on to plastic. Now obviously writes with ease on the plastic with it being smooth, but similar to the red marker, and it must just be because of the alcohol base, but around the edges of the line it's not as consistent, but this can most probably be fixed just by putting a bit more paint onto the surface. In summary, I think this mop is great, and I think the ink inside it is even greater. I definitely prefer it to the red. The red was nice, but I just personally think it's lacking a bit of a punch, but to be honest that's expected with coloured inks, as if you know anything about inks, the best ink by any brand is always its black. And a really opaque red ink is something that's really hard to come by, but MTN have definitely done a really good red ink here. But I absolutely love this black. It's so stupidly opaque and dark, it's black as the ace of spades, and it's really glossy as well. Also another thing is that mops tend to use quite a lot of ink and paint quite quickly, while MTN must know this because they've made this mop huge. They weren't mucking about when they were making this mop. I don't think I've seen a mop marker this big before. When I originally unboxed this, I thought it was another bottle in itself. So if you like to go hard when you go out, then this is definitely a marker you should try out. And that's this review over, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to know any more of the specific details about the markers, go and check the unboxing video, as I don't know whether you're aware, but I'm trying to put all the specific details in the unboxing videos and then just leave in the review videos for how the marker and the ink actually cope up in the review. Once again, I'd like to thank MTN Colours. It's been a great opportunity for me, and I really appreciate that the original graffiti paint brand has supplied me with these markers to review for them. But as always, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any comments, questions or anything, just drop it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been HexxInkworks with the MTN Street Ink review. Peace out.